So you want to buy a private jet. Most people think owning a private jet is simply the ultimate luxury purchase. They imagine leather seats, champagne, privacy, and the ability to skip airport security lines. But that's actually the least interesting part of the story. The real story is economics, because the moment you move beyond the fantasy and start looking at the numbers, private jet ownership becomes one of the most fascinating financial decisions in modern business. For some people, it is an irrational money pit that destroys wealth at an astonishing rate. For others, it becomes a strategic asset that creates millions of dollars in additional productivity, business opportunities, and time savings. The difference between those two outcomes comes down to understanding the economics behind ownership. The first thing most people don't realize is that private jets are not purchased by the same logic used to buy luxury cars, mansions, or yachts. A yacht is almost always a consumption asset. It exists primarily for enjoyment. A private jet sits in a completely different category because it can function as a business tool. For many owners, especially entrepreneurs, executives, investors, and corporations, the aircraft is not viewed as transportation. It is viewed as a mobile productivity machine. The question isn't whether the jet costs money. The question is whether the jet creates more value than it consumes. Let's begin with acquisition costs. The entry point into private jet ownership can be surprisingly low by billionaire standards. Older light jets such as a Citation CJ1, Learjet 31, or Beechjet can sometimes be purchased for between $1 and $3 million. Move into modern light jets and you're looking at $5 to $10 million. Step into midsize aircraft such as the Citation Latitude or Challenger 350, and prices climb into the $15 to $30 million range. Large cabin jets like the Gulfstream G650, Bombardier Global 7500, or Dassault Falcon 10X can easily cost $60 to $80 million or more. New flagship aircraft can exceed $100 million depending on configuration and customization. But here's where inexperienced buyers make their first mistake. The purchase price is often only the beginning. In aviation, the acquisition cost is usually dwarfed by the long-term operating cost. Buying the jet is similar to paying an entry fee into a very expensive ecosystem. Once ownership begins, fixed annual costs immediately appear regardless of whether the aircraft flies 1 hour or 500 hours. These costs include pilot salaries, recurrent training, insurance, hangar fees, management services, maintenance reserves, navigation database subscriptions, regulatory compliance expenses, and administrative overhead. Even a relatively small private jet can easily generate several $100,000 in annual fixed expenses. A large cabin aircraft may generate well over $2 million annually before the engines are even started. Then come the variable costs. Fuel is the obvious one, but it's only part of the equation. Every flight hour creates engine wear, maintenance obligations, landing fees, parking fees, crew travel expenses, catering costs, and depreciation exposure. Depending on aircraft size, hourly operating costs can range from $2,000 per hour to over $10,000 per hour. Ultra-long-range aircraft can exceed that figure significantly under certain conditions. Many aviation analysts estimate that once flying activity reaches roughly 200 to 400 hours per year, ownership begins competing economically with repeated charter usage, depending on aircraft category and mission profile. Below that level, chartering often makes more financial sense. Above that level, ownership starts becoming increasingly attractive because the owner gains guaranteed availability while reducing dependence on charter market pricing. Now let's talk about depreciation, because this is where enormous amounts of money are either lost or preserved. Unlike real estate, aircraft are generally depreciating assets. The moment a new jet leaves the factory, it begins losing value. Historically, many private jets lose between 30 and 50% of their value during the first decade, although specific models vary dramatically. Aircraft with strong manufacturer support, high reliability, fuel efficiency, and favorable operating economics often retain value better than competitors. However, depreciation isn't always purely negative. In certain jurisdictions, business owners can benefit from tax depreciation rules that allow accelerated write-offs. In the United States, for example, various tax provisions have at different times allowed significant deductions for qualifying business aircraft. Similar frameworks exist in other countries. This means that while the aircraft itself may lose market value, the tax treatment can partially offset that economic loss. For some companies, These tax benefits become a major component of the ownership equation. One of the least understood concepts in private aviation is the value of time. Most discussions focus exclusively on expenses, but sophisticated owners focus on opportunity cost. Imagine a CEO earning hundreds of millions of dollars for shareholders. If commercial airline schedules force that executive to spend an additional 200 hours per year in transit inefficiencies, airport procedures, layovers, and overnight stays, the economic impact can become enormous. Studies commissioned by business aviation groups have repeatedly found that private aviation users often cite productivity gains, schedule flexibility, and access to underserved markets as primary economic drivers. Commercial airlines serve major routes exceptionally well, but business opportunities don't always exist between major hubs. Many private aircraft users travel to secondary and tertiary airports that commercial airlines either don't serve or serve poorly. The United States alone has thousands of airports accessible to business aircraft, but only a fraction receive meaningful commercial airline service. This dramatically expands geographic reach. Consider a private equity executive evaluating acquisition targets across multiple states in a single day. A commercial itinerary might require several days, hotel stays, and scheduling compromises. A private jet can allow visits to multiple facilities within hours. When multiplied across hundreds of transactions, the economic value becomes significant. This is why many corporate aviation departments don't justify aircraft ownership based on transportation. They justify it based on accelerated decision-making. Safety and reliability also carry economic implications. Contrary to popular assumptions, large professionally operated business jets often maintain extremely rigorous maintenance standards. Corporate flight departments frequently exceed regulatory minimums. Delayed commercial flights, cancellations, and missed connections all create hidden costs. Business aviation provides schedule control, which can reduce disruptions affecting executives, sales teams, engineers, and specialized personnel. One fascinating aspect of private aviation economics is aircraft management. Many owners don't directly operate their aircraft. Instead, they hire specialized management companies that oversee pilots, maintenance, scheduling, regulatory compliance, and operational logistics. This professionalization improves safety and convenience but adds additional costs. However, for busy executives, outsourcing management is often economically rational because it reduces administrative burden. Some owners attempt to offset expenses through charter programs. When not using the aircraft, they allow third parties to charter it. This can generate revenue and improve utilization. However, charter activity increases wear and maintenance requirements while introducing operational complexity. The economics vary widely based on aircraft type, market demand, and location. Jet cards and membership programs represent another step on the spectrum. Instead of owning an aircraft, customers prepay for flight hours. This eliminates depreciation risk, maintenance exposure, and management complexity while preserving many benefits of private aviation. For travelers with moderate annual usage, these arrangements often deliver attractive economics. Now let's address the most important question. Do private jets actually make financial sense? For the average person, absolutely not. Even many wealthy individuals would be financially better off chartering. Ownership becomes economically rational only when usage frequency, time value, business impact, and strategic advantages combine to exceed ownership costs. The calculation is highly individualized. For a billionaire entrepreneur managing multiple companies, the answer may be yes. For a multinational corporation coordinating executives across continents, the answer may be yes. For an investment firm sourcing deals in remote locations, the answer may be yes. For someone simply seeking luxury travel a few times annually, the answer is almost certainly no. The biggest misconception is that private jets are symbols of wealth. In reality, among the most sophisticated owners, they are viewed as productivity infrastructure. Just as a factory purchases machinery to increase output, certain businesses purchase aircraft to increase organizational effectiveness. The aircraft itself is not the source of value. The source of value is the additional opportunities created by faster movement of high-value people. This is why some of the world's most successful business leaders continue using private aviation, despite the enormous costs. They have calculated that the aircraft generates more economic value than it destroys. The jet allows more meetings, faster decisions, greater geographic reach, stronger confidentiality, reduced travel friction, and increased utilization of their most valuable asset, their time. At the end of the day, the economics of owning a private jet come down to one fundamental principle. Most people focus on the cost of the aircraft. Sophisticated owners focus on the cost of not having it. And in certain rare situations, when every hour carries extraordinary economic value, the most expensive private jet in the world can actually become one of the cheapest decisions a business ever makes.